Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. On today's episode of me talking about stuff and things, I'm going to be going over Ranger in Danger. Now before I continue, please check out the links in the description below. I highly recommend all the surveys and please fill those out if you haven't already and share them if you would like. Now onto the episode. I would like to say I apologize to Andreas because I couldn't find your face photo for the episode, so it's pretty much just going to be Amanda's photo by herself for the time being, but hopefully it'll be fine. But anyway, we open in Limpopo, South Africa, and we see Andreas, who is South African, which I wanted to point out because it's something that I might bring up later. But if I don't remember, it might be a global showdown potential thing. But anyway, he talks about being a ranger on Naked and Afraid for the last 9 years, and he talks about what his job title entails. And we see a flashback to in the Lost in Translation episode when elephants kind of confront the crew for Naked and Afraid, and I believe Andreas was there trying to make sure that the elephants didn't hurt anyone. And the 21-day challenge is taking place in Thailand. Both survivalists are driven to their insertion points in tut-tuts, which I know because on America's Next Top Model Cycle 6, when the contestants had to go to their ghosties, they were driving around in tut-tuts, so I thought I'd bring that up because why not? And we see Andreas, and then we are introduced to Amanda. She likes the therapeutic nature of the outdoors and is a wilderness guide. Her PSR is a 5.7. Andreas's starting PSR is a 6.7. The challenge is taking place during monsoon season, and there is a mention of king cobras. The two meet and chat, and Andreas mentions being a ranger on the show. They get their bags, and Andreas brought a machete while Amanda brought a fishing kit, and they are both given a fire starter but no pot. And we are told that with the potable water in the area, they probably don't need one, and they are given a bug net instead because we are told about the mosquitoes and how terrible they are. They look at their map and hike 4 miles to their water source. During the trek, Andreas talks about his worry about trying not to get lost, and Amanda talks about her struggles with Lyme disease and how it affects her personal and professional life. They spot water, and since the limestone mountains act as a natural filter, trapping sediment as their water moves through cracks and pores in the rock, the water should be fresh enough to drink without needing to boil it. They use bamboo to make water bottles. They then begin working on a sapling shelter for the shelter they're going to sleep in, and they work on a lean-to shelter to protect their fire from the rain. The two are working well together, and Andreas talks about wanting to put what he's learned observing the survivalists over the years to the test. While chopping material for a shelter, he accidentally cuts his hand. Amanda mentions the acacia fern having medicinal properties, and Andreas turns it into a paste and covers his wound, and Amanda helps him bandage it. After that, he continues working. Later, Amanda begins working on the fire. She mentions how Lyme disease affects her nervous system, which can affect her heat regulation, and luckily, she's able to get a fire going. Her PSR rises from 5.7 to 6.0. They finish their shelter and even have pillows. That night, the mosquitoes begin swarming, and day 2, Andreas finds a spider with a bunch of baby spider and picks it up and talks about, oh, look, it's a spider, and there's a lot of baby spiders, and it's like ants. I'm sure a lot of people are like, no, don't do that. Don't pick up the spider. What's going on? That's terrifying. And he also talks about wanting to prove himself to his fellow rangers and how he wants to be a survivalist, and he says that if he completes this challenge, he will consider himself a survivalist, and the two begin working on trying to get food. Amanda builds a bamboo eel trap, and Andreas builds a figure 4 trap. He builds a couple of them. He also sets some passive fishing lines. There's also mentions of monkeys in the area that are taking the fruit. And day 3, Andreas checks the fishing lines and they are empty. He then goes to check his traps and they are also empty. Amanda checks her eel trap and luckily there is a small crayfish. Day 5, Amanda is checking traps again and finds more small crayfish to eat. Day 8, Amanda talks about the effect of the hunger. Andreas's traps are empty and he talks about wanting to keep things light in like a fun, positive way, but he's worried about the lack of food. Day 10, Amanda catches a lizard, and it turns out to be a chameleon. Andreas wants to turn it into bait, and then he goes to scout a river for food and talks about being a ranger and wanting to protect people, and he wants to help and provide. He then goes fishing for a few hours and manages to get a fish. The two enjoy their meal. Day 11 and 13, Andreas catches some more fish, and he also manages to get a snake on day 13. And I wanted to point out that the day 13 fish is very big, so the two are eating very well. And the two get necessary protein as Andreas's PSR rises from 6.7 to 7.1. Day 15, a storm arrives and brings heavy rainfall that continues into the night. Day 18, the two work on reinforcing their shelter to protect from the rain. Amanda wants to get some night hunting in and makes some torches and uses the latex from the rubber tree to help make them be able to burn more efficiently. And that night, the two test the torches, and when they are shown to work, they go hunting for food. Andreas captures a large frog, and then Amanda points out another one, and Andreas catches that too. They go back to camp and cook up their frogs and have a nice meal. Amanda's PSR rises from 6.0 to 6.3 because of how well the torches worked. Day 21 arrives as the two prepare for their extraction. They begin their 5-mile extraction, and the narrator mentions snakes once more, and could this be foreshadowing? As they are trekking through some water to make the hiking easier, they spot a massive king cobra. During the survival kit segment, we see Andreas take a large bamboo pole and attach his machete to the end of it so he can cut coconuts from a coconut tree, and he's successful. And he makes a straw, and the two are able to have coconut milk, which is great. After the commercial break, the two are still dealing with the king cobra, but it eventually slithers away. Andreas's ranger training has helped in this situation by keeping everybody calm and making sure the snake goes on its way. After some more hiking, the two successfully make it to the extraction point and complete the challenge. Amanda loses 20 pounds and her PSR goes from 5.7 to 6.6. Andreas loses 23 pounds and his PSR goes from 6.7 to 7.5. He says that he is a survivalist now, and he also wants other rangers to take on the challenge and mentions wanting to go toe-to-toe with the legends. Is this a way of him hinting that he wants to go on Global Showdown? Or is it him wanting to say he wants to do more challenges and potentially go with survivalists who have been on in the past? Who knows? We shall see. A good episode overall. It could have been 2 hours and had enough content to be entertaining. I know a lot of individuals that I've seen on the fan pages are very happy because someone hasn't tapped out, because the last 3 episodes in a row, there is someone who tapped out, which is very unfortunate for them. And people are saying how they wish the episodes were longer. And so at least that's good. And next week is the season finale. But before I go into that, I just want to say I hope we can maybe see Amanda and Andreas in the future. Maybe Andreas will be on Global Showdown. Maybe he'll take on another challenge and then be on Global Showdown. We shall see. And then we have the season finale. Please Don't Eat Me. 4 survivalists attempt 21 days in the Kalahari Desert, but a brutal starvation sets in. Desperation forces the group to confront fractured trust, extreme choices, and the limits of human endurance. Dun dun dun. So that'll be interesting to see. I know Jolie is coming back for a 21-day challenge, so that's exciting. And then Kyle, who tapped on his challenge all the way back in season 9. He was Riley's partner on her 21-day challenge. He's coming back for redemption, and we shall see how it goes. Thank you all so much for listening. Please like, comment nice things, and subscribe, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thank you. Bye-bye.